Your Highness, Israel just signed with Hamas a truce of 4 days and the sparing liberation of 50 hostages. Is it for you a good or bad agreement with this barbaric Hamas people?
Well, first of all, on the humanitarian level, of course, no one can be not relieved to see that families are getting back their loved ones. And that's obviously a humanitarian issue. However, let me just start by saying that this whole concept of hostage taking is not new. It started in Tehran when the U.S. embassy personnel were taken hostage. And we see today that the regime's proxies are behaving in the same manner. That they have learned a lesson as a result of hesitation and weakness from Western governments that it pays to take hostages. Case in point, the recent release of hostages in Iran in exchange for money that was liberated by the current Biden administration. What I'm trying to say here is that if you succumb to blackmail, we better expect more and more hostages to be taken down the line. Which leads us to this issue. It's one thing to try to fight the symptoms. The problem is you have to cure the disease, and the disease is what is the source of all this kind of radicalism and terrorism. And again, it ties back to the chief financier of groups like Hamas, which is, of course, the regime in Tehran.
According to you, Your Highness, what role has the Islamic Republic played in the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict?
Well, obviously, it was not in the regime interest to see this peace process and the Abraham Accord bear fruits, so they tried to sabotage it. And they have always tried to take credit in this kind of action, but short of taking responsibility and facing the consequences of that. They've always tried to take credit for these kind of actions and somehow got away with not facing the repercussions of it. This has been a tactic, and that's why they have proxy wars, because so far they managed to maintain themselves in power by keeping repression at home and distracting the world to other problems, including regional conflict, and of course, case in point, the recent terrorist attack on Israel. The proxies from the regime are operating day in, day out. They're getting financed, they're getting trained, they're getting equipped with weapons and all that. And this is clearly, why would the regime spend so much money instead of its own people in the region if it didn't have any intentions to utilize at some point these proxies to sabotage any process or create more instability. This has been a tactic that I have applied the past 4 decades, and we see yet another example of it.